Hi guys and welcome to another video on the Rugby League Bunker. With the NRL ramping up for another start next month, we figured we might ramp up our content to go just along with it. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there just like me with a little bit of extra free time these days, and you're definitely feeling the void of footy and footy content, so we thought we might start filling that for you guys again with weekly podcasts and videos every few days for you. And I wanted to kick that off this week with a really interesting story that's come out about Quade Cooper wanting to try his hand at the NRL. So this video is going to be talking about the former Wallaby, if he'll be a fit for rugby league, what position he might play, and most importantly, what club might he go to if he were to try his hand for 6 months. With all the travel restrictions and everything that's going on, he can't go back to Japan to play for his club, so he wants to fulfill what he said is a lifelong dream and just try his hand at league. He's not completely new to the game. He did grow up playing it in New Zealand with Isaac John, who you might know from YKTR and a former Panthers player. But obviously he's known for his long time playing as a number 10 or a 5'8" in rugby union. Quade Cooper is definitely known as one of the, or at least used to be one of the flashier rugby union players, especially in the Australian squad. He's someone who could pull out a quality play out of thin air, but he could also just as likely ruin everything for the team. He'd either try too hard and force an error out of himself, or sometimes he was known to be a little bit too selfish with the ball as well and take it all on himself to carry the team. To be fair though, he has been the number 10 in a few pretty average Wallaby squads. Playing halves in union doesn't necessarily translate to playing in the halves in rugby league, but I feel like if you were to throw him in a number 6 shirt, at times he could look like a natural there. If you throw Quade in 6, he doesn't have the pressure of organising plays as much. He doesn't have to tell players where to be or what lines to run. That's more in the halfback, so if he's playing 6, it's more a play what you see kind of role. And I feel like that, especially in rugby union, is when Quade was at his best. When he didn't have to be organising plays, when he'd be relying on more of his halfback to be doing that, he'd set himself up with a bit of space, and that's where you'd see his running game excel and his passing game excel. He does have a really good running game, he's got a nice step on him, but I feel like the best part of his game is his passing. He has really good vision to see where players are, where they're going, and how to create space for them to get through the line. And with so many years of him doing that, and he's 32? He might be an asset to some teams that are kind of lacking that either experience or flashiness to make the players around them a bit better. Where I think Quade would really struggle though is reading defense in the game. Defense in league is really different to union and the hits are much bigger. If he plays, he's clearly going to be targeted. And with some big boys getting 10-meter run-ups against him, and with his body getting on a little bit now, I don't think he's going to take the hits as well as he might in union. I mean, obviously in union they have that smaller run-up. He's going to have some big bodies clashing into him repetitively. And not just that, if he is defending in the middle of the park too, he has to make a lot of reads, and if he's not used to defending league plays, that'd be a massive adjustment as well. He did sign for the Parramatta Eels back in the day. In the end, he did backflip on it, but the Eels coach at the time, Daniel Anderson, pretty much said straight after that he was happy that he didn't sign him because Quade can't tackle. He just doesn't have the great tackle technique. He has to rely on the people around him to make tackles. That's also not too uncommon in halves in rugby league anyway. A lot of the time they will have a bigger body bodyguarding them next to them, so you know, the little player might wrap himself around the opposing player, but then a big body will actually come in and do the dirty work to bring him down. So if he were to come to league, where's he going to go? There are 3 clubs that I feel like could maybe use his talents. At these clubs, there are quality halves there that I would probably play ahead of him anyway, but if he's going to get his way and have a short stint in the NRL, then these are the places that I put him. So obviously Cooper, he lives in Brisbane. He played for the Reds for a long time. He's talked about on podcasts how he owns a few properties there, and we've seen him training with a few Broncos like Tavita Pengai Jr. With that said though, Brisbane isn't the club. I wouldn't send him to the Broncos. I'd send him to the next door neighbours, the Titans. That'd only be a short drive away from home for him, and they're a team that I feel like are lacking so bad in the halves they could do with just about anyone. Ash Taylor, this was supposed to be the year where he returns, takes over the team and lives up to his $1 million a season potential that the club thinks he has, but Ash Taylor isn't the player that I'd give the boot to fit Quade in. If I had to, I'd probably take Roberts out. Leave Taylor in the 7 jersey and put Quade in 6. Let Taylor take care of the organising and kicking duties, and just let Quade play what he sees. I feel like one of the biggest things that the Titans are lacking at the moment is a player that's been there for the big games consistently. Someone who brings a lot of years of experience playing towards the top. He's won premierships with the Reds, played in Rugby World Cups and had a lot of tests for Australia. Someone like that who brings an experienced winning mentality could be really beneficial for the Titans, even if it's just for a small period. If that can rub off on the rest of the squad, I feel like that'd be really beneficial to them. But I feel like that's the most important thing that it'd offer the Titans. I don't know if it'd offer a whole lot of improvement on the field, to be completely honest. Because if he were to play league, he really would struggle, especially for the first couple of months. Roberts is also nursing an injury at the moment. He's expected to be back a few weeks after the competition resumes, if it does come back May 28th. So I feel like the Titans might be a pretty good fit for him. If Cooper was willing to move for a few months though, he could come down to Sydney and park up at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Kieran Kieran Foran's shoulder injury is a bit of a mystery at the moment. They do need a man to step in the halves. And Lockie Lewis has shown that he can be the organising 7 to get the team on his shoulders and get them where they need to be, which should offer up a lot of room for Quade Cooper to operate. That said though, it is a possibility that Kieran Foran's injury does come back a little earlier than they originally expected, and the second that Foran's fit, you have to throw him straight in there. Kieran Foran is a massive part of that club, and I feel like Lockie Lewis is as well, so if you were to bring Quade down and then Kieran Foran's fit after, 3, 4, 5 rounds, then there's almost no point. Which is why I think the Warriors might be a really good destination for him. If not the Titans, I think it could be the Warriors. He would fulfill something that he's never done, which is play for a team that represents his home country. Obviously, he's from New Zealand, he never got to represent the All Blacks, and he also never will be able to, so the best way to get him in some New Zealand colours is throw him into the Warriors. And the Warriors are a team that are having some halves issues themselves. You've got Adam Kieran and Chanel Harris-Tavita who are always fighting for the spot with each other. They're always rotating them in and out and in and out, and that's providing some real inconsistency for their halves combination. So why not chuck Quade in there and see if he can work some magic? I feel like with his vision and ability to create gaps for players, with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's ability with support and to actually get himself through those gaps, that could be a pretty dangerous combination, and I think it'd be one that not only the NRL community but especially the New Zealand community would be happy to see. I mean, New Zealand did hate Quade Cooper for a pretty long time for representing Australia, even though he didn't actually have really much of a say on which nation he played for, but I think they're past that now, and I think it might mean something to him to actually maybe represent New Zealand in something. Although I think the Titans could probably benefit from having him more, I'd like to see him go to the Warriors. But with all of that said, I really don't think we're going to see Quade come to rugby league. I'd be very surprised. I reckon he'd probably ask for a pretty fat chunk of coin, and coin is something that the NRL's lacking. Not many clubs are going to be keen to throw a few bucks on pretty much just trialing a player, and especially in such a short term, and that he'd also have to get permission off his Japanese rugby club. There are just too many moving parts that need to come together for him to do it, and although I think it'd be a really entertaining experiment, I just can't see it happening. Who knows, maybe next month I'll eat my words and I'll be doing a video about how Quade Cooper's doing in the NRL. But with all that said guys, if Quade did come to the NRL, where would you like to see him and what position would you like to see him play? And how do you think he'd go? Do you think his union ability would translate well to league? Definitely leave your opinion in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share this video on whatever platform you're watching it on, because we're going to be bringing out a ton of new rugby league content for you guys in the form of our podcast, which you can find on all podcast services and on YouTube as well. There's a link down in the description if you're on YouTube, and I'm going to be bringing out videos just like this every few days for you guys talking about all things footy. So don't forget to subscribe or like the page depending what platform you're on to see all that new stuff coming out for you guys. So I've been Sam for the Rugby League Bunker, and I'll see you guys on your screens real soon.